Okay. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining our call here. This is I'm Nolan Samburn. If you're new here, I am father to a 14-month-old, and I own about 187,000 square feet of commercial real estate in the Birmingham and surrounding areas. So, Brad, you want to introduce yourself really quickly?
Sure, Brad Lowe, here at Nolan Associates Wealth Management, specialize in infinite banking and helping people squeeze more return out of the deals that they're already doing.
Love it. Well, just like we said before, guys, we're going to jump right into this. This is, again, I'm the owner of the CRE Collective, where what we're doing is building this really cool investment group where we're bringing together general partners and limited partners and focusing really strongly on industrial, warehouse, and flex space. So I just wanted to go over quickly a deal that some partners and I did that are actually in our collective, and go over the metrics and the math on a return. And Brad's going to go into some details because I've discovered that the most important metric in real estate, and it's a hill that I'm willing to die on, is cash on cash return. The only thing that matters is the least amount of dollars we can inject into a deal and create a return from that. That's the only thing that truly matters that I've discovered. And that's, again, the hill that I'm willing to die on. So let me share my screen and go into the details of this property. So again, let me just show you guys what the actual the property looks like. This is a little warehouse. And again, this isn't anything crazy. It's nothing to write home to mom about. It's probably something you've driven past on the road before, and you say, who the heck would own that building? And it's me. I want to own it because, again, they're not hot, they're not sexy, but they cash flow consistently, and the business owners that are our tenants are successful, and they pay rent every single month. So let me just go quickly over the math on this thing as to how we bought this property and what the returns are going to look like when we flip it here just in a couple of weeks. So first, again, I have this pro forma. All of the members in our group have this pro forma. They have access to this. It's just my underwriting metric pro forma. And so it's got all the ratios, all the metrics that you need to underwrite real estate deals on the commercial side. But again, we bought this property in Bessemer, Alabama. It's 4,400 square feet. The value of the land is $28,500. And that really isn't all that important in this deal because we're going to be flipping it, but it's really important when you're talking about ownership and depreciation. But right now, the building is not cash flowing at all. We actually bought this property from a really motivated seller, and he actually was excited to get out of town. So he sold his business, left, and now we bought the property completely vacant. And quickly, the differences between residential and commercial real estate. Residential real estate is valued based upon the comparable sales. So if you have a cul-de-sac of 10 properties that are all going for 200 grand, that 11th property is also going to go for $200,000. Doesn't matter if you try and redo the bathroom or you put granite countertops in the kitchen, because again, the value of real estate on residential side is based upon the comps in the area, the comparables. Commercial real estate, on the other hand, is focused and based upon its net operating income. So if you can increase the net operating income, you increase the value. So again, right now, this property is not throwing off any cash flow. There's no rental income because there's no tenant or no business owner inside of the property. So what we're going to do, and what we just recently did, was go and lease this space up, candidly at $3,500 a month, triple net lease, which is pretty awesome simply because it's over 900 or 950 a foot. Oops, wrong one. 950 a foot. So $3,500 goes into this. You see $9.50 a square foot. And again, these leases are triple net leases, meaning that the tenant pays all the expenses. They pay the property taxes, they pay the insurance, and they pay the maintenance. But what we did is we immediately found a buyer. So let me just show you what the math looks like here. We bought this property on September 15th. We bought this for $213,000. I have two partners from our real estate collective that wanted to participate in this because they saw the upside, knowing that the property was vacant and knowing that we had the pretty quick opportunity to go and lease this property up. So we injected a total amount of $213,000. Partner one brought 100, partner two brought 100, and then I injected my tiny little $13,000. The difference is they both got 25% equity. I got 50% equity because I found the deal and did all the work. But they're just happy to participate. So again, the details is the building is 4,400 square feet. The lease is triple net. So the rent every single year is $3,500 multiplied by 12 to equal $42,000. The rents go up 3% every year. It's a 5-year lease. So the going in cap rate is 19.72%, which is pretty solid based knowing that you don't have to actually do anything. So we're actually selling this property to a physician that has cash, and he's just looking for cash flow and depreciation. We're selling it to him for $430,000. The closing cost on this deal is going to be around $38,700. Actually, I gave my brokers a 8% commission on this closing simply because they worked so hard to find the deal and flip it that quickly. So the net proceeds on this deal is going to be $391,000, which is our sales price minus our closing costs. And then the net profit is just going to be the net proceeds minus the total amount of injected equity. So we're having a net profit of $178,300. So our partners are going to basically, they wrote a check for $100,000. They're getting a check back for $144,575 each. And then candidly, I'm very fortunate. I'm going to get a check for just under $90,000. So that's the deal that we're finding. Now, not every single time, because we can hang this one in the loop. This is an awesome opportunity for myself and my partners. But again, like I said, the most important metric in real estate is cash on cash return. Again, it's the hill that I'm willing to die on. So what I would like Brad to do is share your screen, Brad, and talk about how we can actually squeeze even more juice out of this deal and just show the math as to what guys are doing as a way to make the returns go way up.
Sure. I'm going to share my screen. And while I'm doing that, so we use infinite banking, which is a strategy basically where we just store our cash in properly structured dividend paying whole life insurance contracts. Specifically for the real estate investor type, we do that because it is a place where we can get unstructured leverage. And so we'll talk about what that means in just a second. But like Nolan said, cash on cash return is king. Some people may say other things. I kind of agree with Nolan. I think that's where it's at. And it doesn't really matter how great or how good your return is. Nobody's ever sad if the return goes up, right? If you got 20% return, you're not mad about it if you get 25. If you got 50%, you're not mad about it if you get 60. Well, now, like Nolan said, let's hang this deal in the loop. Just a cash on cash return of somebody bringing cash to the table from their money market account, whatever the case may be. If they took $100,000 from their bank account, gave it to Nolan to go do this deal, they obviously didn't have any kind of payment here because they took cash out of the bank, right? So they didn't have any payment. Future value of that at closing is $144,575. They get their principal back plus the $44,575 over 3 months. And it's actually shorter than that, but let's just say over 3 months, that cash on cash returns about 157%. Pretty sporty. And man, would we love to do those deals every 90 days on repeat, but they don't come around all the time. But this one worked out great for the cash guy, almost 157% cash on cash in that little 90-day window. So, but let's talk about if we use the infinite banking strategy and why that might be different, how that might be different. First of all, I want to point out one thing on the cash guy. It's not out of the realm of possibility to get 5.25 in a money market right now if you're a very large depositor. So let's just do some quick math right here. 100,000 on deposit. Let's say you get 5.25, right? That's $5,250 of interest earned on that $100,000 in a year, right? Divide that by 12. You're earning $437.50 a month times 3 months. It was out for this deal. Obviously, you would do this deal every time and twice on Sunday to get 156% return in that 90-day window. Nonetheless, this cash guy still did give up $1,312.50 in interest earnings that would have happened in that 5.25 money market to do this deal. Again, completely fair trade, very wise decision on him to do it, but it wasn't without a cost. That was his interest cost was $1,312. That's a real number and his real cost, right? So $1,312 is what it cost him interest over here to get this return. Well, the reason we store capital in these properly structured dividend paying whole life insurance contracts is because they will outperform money markets over time, even the way money markets are now. It's a tax shelter. The returns aren't taxed. We can get into that a different time, what it does itself. But the juice here, how to enhance this return is contractually, life insurance companies, if we were working with the proper one, are obligated to give you an unstructured loan for almost 100% of your cash value whenever you ask for it. The only structure to that loan at all one of the carriers we use, is a 4% interest only simple interest rate. You dictate all the other terms and you decide it. You don't even have to let the insurance company know. Completely unstructured on your part, other than the 4% interest only loan rate. So interestingly enough, in this particular deal, these two participants, one of them did use their cash, but one of them had cash inside one of these whole life contracts, and he was able to get a loan from the life insurance company using his life insurance contract as the leverage, not the real estate, but using his life insurance contract. That's where the lien was on the life insurance contract. And he got that loan at 4% interest only. So what does that look like for him? So he didn't use any of his money, so it's zero. He used the life insurance company's money, right? And so if you do the quick math, 4% on 100,000, if it was out for the whole year, would be $4,000. Divide that by 12, and it's $333.33 a month of interest is what he was going to be paying the life insurance company to use their $100,000. So let's put $333.33 of interest here. The future value here is not going to be $144,575. It's going to be $44,575, because he's going to still get the same check of $144,575, but he's going to take $100, that principal, which he got from the insurance company, and pay it back to the insurance company. So that stops his interest expense, and he was servicing the interest along the way, so he only owes the principal back. And again, same 3-month window here. Let's see what happens to the return for the infinite banking guy. Over 12,000%. Now, again, this is a hanging in the Louvre deal. That's astronomical. Typically, we see the return go up by 8 to 10x on typical deals that are stretched out for 12, 24, 36 months beyond. Again, still giant gap in the system. Now, let's back up a minute. What did we say the expense was? Let me look back at my calculator. The guy that used his cash, they both profited $44,575. It cost him out of his pocket $1,312.50 of interest that he was not able to earn in his money market because the $100,000 wasn't there. This guy, it cost $999.99. So even though we leveraged and borrowed money from a life insurance company, we still had a smaller interest expense because we didn't have the opportunity cost on this side of the ledger.
Wow. Can you explain quickly too, Brad, just how important it is that people need to comprehend the difference between everyone gets caught up in the interest rate and not really the opportunity cost of using cash? Can you just briefly describe how important that is to distinguish the differences?
Yeah, I mean, so we really want to, I mean, rate's important. That's part of the calculation, but that's not the thing we're most concerned with. Just like in real estate, you're most concerned with the metric of cash on cash. A lot of other metrics, numbers involved in the calculation there, a lot of other things to consider. That's what we're most concerned about in this conversation is cash on cash return. When we talk about interest, rate's not irrelevant. We have to consider it, but what we're concerned about is the dollar amount of interest. So the volume of interest. So that's what we're talking about there in this example. Specifically, when we have cash earning something somewhere, we have to choose to either leave it there or put it somewhere else to earn something greater, which this guy did, which is great. He earned a much greater amount of dollar amount of interest in this 90-day window by partnering with you in this real estate deal than he would have had he left the cash where it was. But he had to pick one. He couldn't get both. When we store money in a life insurance contract, we don't have to pick one. Our dollars never left the life insurance contract. So our dollars didn't know that they were leveraged against it. Just like you borrow money from on a line of credit from your home, the value of your home appreciates whether there's leverage against the home or whether it's not. The home does not recognize that leverage with regards to the appreciation. The life insurance contract works the same way. To the antithesis of what the money market account does, obviously, if the money's not in the money market, it can't earn whatever that stated rate is. We leverage against a life insurance contract, use the life insurance company's money. Our money continues to earn and grow and compound. And 20 years from now, it'll be what it's going to be, whether we've leveraged against it 100 times or whether we've leveraged against it 0. It's going to be worth the same amount of money down the road.
I love it, man. And so, guys, this is what we're trying to incorporate into our lives. So, of course, the real estate deal is going to do what it's going to do. But if we can find a way to squeeze even more juice out of this deal, because, again, one of our partners ends up getting an awesome rate of return by using cash. But when you use someone else's money on an unstructured, basically line of credit, where you control everything, it increases the rate of return to something that's almost comical. So again, if you're really interested in learning more about joining our group, our CRE Collective, to get into industrial commercial real estate deals similar to this, and maybe even something that's even better, we'd love you to join, especially once you click the link in our bio. We can talk about that. But if you want to build a foundation through this infinite banking concept, like Brad said, it doesn't matter if you're borrowing against it or you're not. The value of that contract is going to appreciate on a tax-free basis, whether you're using the capital inside of it or you're not. So again, we're really excited to have you, Brad. Thanks so much for coming on, man, and sharing your thoughts on this. I'm excited to get started with you, man. Thanks, and talk to you guys soon.
Awesome.